Hello everyone, my name is Rob Isnow. I'm a community manager working with Lagos Studios, and I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk you through what Liftoff is and some of the features that are in version 1 release. Liftoff is an FPV simulator. It's at the core of it a racing simulator, and it allows people to connect and compete, setting the best lap times and track times for different races. But it's more than that. It is essentially a drone simulator. It lets you go in and learn how to fly and practice flying from the ground up, and you could use this as a beginner to learn. You could use this as a pro racer to enhance your abilities and practice tracks and so on. Physics 3.0 is the third iteration of fine-tuning the physics engine and making it feel like you are really flying out in the real world. It's as close to real-life physics as it gets. So one of the biggest challenges with an FPV simulator is the issue of how many different types of controllers there are and that you've got to try and work with. So Liftoff answers that with the calibration screen. It essentially takes whatever controller you can plug in to it, registers it, and then starts assigning the relevant stick values whilst you move the sticks according to the calibration screen. It's a very, very clever tool, and it certainly helps get anyone with whatever equipment they've got into Liftoff flying in the shortest amount of time. It does have the auto calibration is what you're seeing. It does have a full manual calibration setting, and obviously it's got the fine tuning features as well. So after that, we would want to go and pick our drones. So we have drone selection. This is broken up into My Fleet, Blueprints, and Downloads. My Fleet is where you store all of the drones you've customized. Blueprints is the huge selection of pre-built default setups that you can always rely on those to just get in the air and fly, no problem. And the downloads area is where you would download community built drones. If you want to get further involved, you can go into the workbench, which is on display now. This lets you pick frames, change batteries, propellers, motors, whether you've got things like action cams on the top there. And all these things that you're changing can affect the weight, the thrust, the power, top speed, and how the quad handles. So we've designed an easy to read info bar at the top. You can see that changing as things are added and removed from the drone, and that's affecting how it might handle, what its top speed is, and weight and thrust statistics. All of the quads run on a flight controller. The flight controller here on screen can be tweaked to fine-tune the quad's performance in the air. Once you've got a drone set up and ready to fly, you can move on to your level selection. Now, there are a wide range of levels or environments that you can fly in Liftoff, and all of these can have tracks built into them with the built-in track editor. And if none of these environments take your fancy, you do have the drawing board to work on as well. Moving on from the types of environments you can fly in, we have the different game modes. So the most common one to just go in and practice flying with would be your free flight mode, where you can pick any of the environments to just fly around in and chill out. Free flight mode does have the option to load in tracks, so you can practice your flight through different track routes and so on, but there is no pressure to do anything in there. Moving on to the first type of race, we have standard race, which is typical of your more racing games, where you have a countdown from 3 to 1 and then you go, and it is first to the finish to ensure a podium, first place prize on podium. There isn't the pressure of crashing out too much, because if you do crash out, we have a rewind time function built into Liftoff. So that enables you to stay in a race even if you do have a couple of crashes. You can use that as much as you need, but it does increase the amount of time it's taking you to get through the course. The next mode is infinite race mode, and this is a mode where you load into a track and you literally just go at it as much as you can for as many laps as you wish. There is no downtime, you just get in and fly the laps as much as you can, and it keeps a record of your fastest lap time. This is all in single player. You can do all of this in a multiplayer lobby as well with up to 4 other people. The final mode in Liftoff is the freestyle mode. This gives you 60 seconds to perform as many tricks and combine them as quickly as you can to score an increasing high score as you fly. The more tricks you combine and perform, the more your multiplier goes up and the more points you're awarded. That's it for the modes. All of these modes are available in single player and also in the multiplayer lobbies. You can set which mode you'd like to fly in, and you can set rules like, is camera noise turned on, is battery management turned on, and those sorts of things. These things factor in terms of just enhancing the realism, as if you were wearing goggles out in the field and flying for real. Battery management brings into factor the battery power, and the longer you fly, the less power the battery will have, so it will sag much like in real life, and you just won't be able to go as fast until you eventually just run out of juice. So why would you want to go into all of these modes? Well, firstly, there is leaderboards for all of these modes, and you can see just some of those coming up on the screen now. The other reason you go onto this is there is an XP system in Liftoff, and the more you fly in these modes, in the races and the freestyle modes, you will be able to earn XP, which levels you up. Every time you earn a level, you earn a gift box. You can open the gift box up in the workbench and you'll be presented with free random cosmetic items that you can pick one and then apply that to your drone if you so wish. And this just goes a little step further into making the drone a little bit more unique and a little bit more personal to you. You can then customize that to your heart's content when you get these items unlocked. These are all free. There is no pay to unlock these gift boxes. It is not a loot box system, as it were. It's just a free reward to keep you engaged in Liftoff. So moving past that, we then have the multiplayer rooms themselves, where you'd go into the multiplayer lobby, join a room. Depending on how many people are online, there'll be a bunch of different rooms open that you can join, ranging from free flight to the infinite race, standard race modes, or the freestyle modes. And they could have battery management turned on, camera noise turned on, they could have God mode disabled or enabled, so depending on how harsh the pilots are in those modes. The voice chat between pilots is enabled by default. You can push to talk, you can use text chat if you so wish, or you can mute all of those things or hide them out of the way. So the idea is that Liftoff is a multiplayer mode racer. You can join in these lobbies, set your times, those times will be registered on the leaderboard, and you will be able to see if you are, or see where you fall in the pack, as it were. So one of the other big features of Liftoff is the Pro League section. This is where players will register their Liftoff Pro League account, and they will be able to fly in tournaments that are hosted fairly regularly, each with prizes. Sometimes it will just be a certificate and a Liftoff Pro League badge. Other times we have given away quads and quad frames and other FPV related items. So this is where the best of the best really duke it out for the top spot on those leaderboards. And the final few features to note are, obviously, we have our own Liftoff soundtrack. You've been hearing that subtle in the background as this video has been going on. But the bigger features here are, we have a built-in tutorial that will allow you to go through the basics. If you've never flown a drone before, it gives you a basic understanding of starting, taking off, building in turns and so on, and getting familiar with flying a quad. The other big feature is the inbuilt track builder, which I've sort of touched on as I've been going through this video, but some of the content that has been made by the community members is just astounding. So I just want to leave you with some final clips from the drawing board and what people have been able to create in there, but also some other community built tracks on some of the other environments. The track builder is very robust and very useful. It can be used just to create environments to fly around in the drawing board, but also very unique tracks for the community. And some of these tracks have been featured in the Pro League tournament just mentioned as well. So this stuff is very, very liked by the community. So final things to point out is that Liftoff is available on PC, Mac and Linux. The base game is $20 as is, and that comes with everything you've seen in this video. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoy your time with Liftoff.